Hello, welcome. Simon here from the Wales of Wall Street. Today we are looking at solve.care, that is SOLVE on the exchange. I personally purchased this on KuCoin, but it's also available on Bittrex and a couple of other exchanges as well. Our floating price, as of recording today, at around about 6.8 cents. We will go into the chart in more detail shortly, but I thought I'd throw that bit of information out there early on in this video. Guys, if you have not done so, please check out our intro video for solve.care. I'll leave a video link at the end of this one so you do not miss out on that as well, and make sure you know what we are talking about. So obviously tokenomics of healthcare. One of the topics I wanted to pick up on before we go into this part here around the blockchain infrastructure event that these guys are included in. A few things have happened in the UK here recently. We've had supposed fuel shortages. We didn't actually have one, but now because our government's fantastic, made an announcement that there might be one, and now everyone's thinking there was one and went to fill up loads of times, and now we have a fuel shortage. So we've got that aspect, but it brought up a topic, and I've been speaking to a couple of people via DM on Twitter and things like that in relation to how that's affected them. And there were quite a few people who had things like doctor's appointments, the alcohol anonymous kind of things, and it kind of hit home that actually, when people are, everyone's got their own reason for getting fuel and this, that, and that. There's no right or wrong in my opinion. Like, unless you're one of those lunatics that is literally going out there filling up can after can after can, in a selfish aspect. I don't agree with that at all. But you can't stop people from doing what everyone else is doing, right? But you've got to have in the back of your mind, like, okay, how is this going to affect people around me or people I don't even know? And one of those aspects is, of course, when you not necessarily, well, it can actually, to be fair, it can integrate things like taxis or ambulance transports and things like this, which do have, to be fair, special kind of access to not necessarily petrol stations, but other means of getting fuel. But for the general public who perhaps are potentially missing out on appointments or really important appointments, scheduled things like that, these kind of people will miss out on things because they're not able to get where they need to get to, or they have difficulty getting to public transport and this, that, and the other. So obviously this kind of project doesn't entail for everyone, okay? But I'm talking about just general healthcare here again. And we mentioned in the previous video of a nice case study, I think it was in Australia or New Zealand, where someone who was talking when they're very much out of the city, basically, in a remote area, and they don't have much healthcare in their kind of villages and everything, and they have to travel maybe 3 or 4 hours to get to go to a doctor. Now, of course, if there's something majorly wrong with you, you want to go and see someone, of course, but majority of the time, you just want to have a bit of reassurance, or you could have a quick check over virtually, and that's what these guys kind of do, solve.care. The tokenomics aspect is very much built into the blockchain in terms of how you pay for that service, how you're utilizing future transport systems for that aspect, and healthcare. Like I said, go and check out the intro video so we go into more detail about that. But it's the application of itself, like, to people, what people use it for and how and why. And I never thought about the dimension of what if we ever have like fuel shortages or things like this in the future. And it's a bit of an eye-opener because it's not an aspect of this kind of solution that I ever thought of. So we're always learning here, of course. But I just want to throw that little idea out there that actually this kind of application or digital healthcare through the smartphone is very much applicable to many scenarios in the world, of course. And it gives people the opportunity to have access to healthcare in a minimal cost format in the non sort of general public system, where they have the choice that they can go and get these kind of services. And I think it will be more and more popular as time goes on, and the use of tokenomics and blockchain will help emphasize that. It will keep the cost down. It will allow access to so many more people who don't necessarily want to go to the doctor because they feel vulnerable for whatever reason. It opens up so many nice windows for so many people, and that's what's the great thing about this kind of technology and integration of blockchain and tokenomics. So I wanted to just throw that out there. The other piece of information here is their participation in the blockchain infrastructure educational seminar. So this occurs today and tomorrow. I'm not sure in exact time it starts today. I think it might be due any moment now, but of course when you see this video you might have missed some of it. But You do have to pay to be in this seminar anyway, but I think from an institutional level, it's great that Solve are going to be there, kind of waving the flag really of the healthcare sector, because a lot of other ones here, loads of councils and foundations and things around blockchain and this, that and the other, but loads of other ones of interest as well, particularly like, for example, we've got here GBA, very much around real estate, how blockchain and tokenomics are going to influence that market is something we definitely cover on our channel, with the likes of Proppy, for example, Alicia. Go and check those videos out if you haven't done so already. We will need to do an update on those actually in the next 24, 40 hours, I reckon. So yeah, you could check out those as well. So yeah, there's loads of cool things that Solve are getting involved with to, like I said, wave that flag for the healthcare sector in regards to blockchain tokenomics. So it's good to see them involved in these kind of things. Loads of government officials and things like that will be there as well. So it's all good news for them. And yeah, I just think this project has got great opportunity. Yeah, I'm sure there'll be some gains opportunities in the next couple of months or so, but I'm thinking long term for this as the development of AI and blockchain continues. It's a really good one to invest in early doors, in my opinion. Not financial advice, just an opinion. Let's go into the chart. If you find this video informative, please smash that big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you are new here or if you have not pressed it at all yet. And if you haven't pressed it at all yet, why on earth have you not done so? Go and do it. We want to get to 2,000. We're absolutely smashing it. Thank you so much for your support out there. We hope you're enjoying the content and what we bring to the table. And we love your engagement as well. We're always learning off you guys too. That's the important thing. Chart time. Stop waffling on. It's not a pageant. Right. So we have here the opportunity has arisen over the last few days to try to break this potential support area. In fact, what I'm just going to quickly do is move that down. I don't know why that's moved. So what have we learned here in the last few days? A few observations. We did try and attack some higher levels. We shot through a support level here at 7.5 cents and tried to attack the 8.5 within one day, which is absolutely fantastic idea there. So that might come from the discussions and the talks, and then people probably taking some quick profits. We've now leveled ourselves back down. But what I like about this chart right now is this area here. It's almost like we're trying to confirm this 6.5 cent mark. Now, historically, we have been higher, of course. We're nowhere near the all-time high just yet, which is sat up here. In fact, I haven't even put a line in there. How rude of me. The previous all-time high, roughly around 60 cents, guys. This was a big day for penetrating many support levels, but you could argue that there was a real kind of all-time high here at 50 cents, but we absolutely obliterated it in one day. Don't know how. I have to look into that one, actually. I didn't observe that before. So we're now back down here. From that point, we've obviously had quite a bit of reduction and correction, but we've had the big sort of point here from that 20th of June period all the way up, arguably, to, let's just change that as well. So we've had a nice cheeky 255% growth-ish to these points where we're seeing around August time, floating around that 10 cent mark, but we couldn't quite break that barrier. So yeah, as I said in the previous video, if you remember, we drew these lines, these golden lines in here as a method of saying that this is critical. This is a critical area for us to get into, get support, and we can really start pushing this in. So I'm not confident just yet that we're ready to really move ourselves up in the Solve chart. But what I am taking confidence-wise is that the histogram is showing a few pales here. The wave is slightly reducing, which is nice to see. We might get this little tail off here, and I do anticipate this kind of move when we start getting just above this area with a bit more confidence in there and switching to a nice pale green method. So we'll have to see about that. The MACD is still very wide, so I do anticipate that we're maybe a week or two off before we start seeing these like 8.5, 10 cent levels more prominently. Okay, so I do anticipate by the end of October we could be in a healthy position and pushing ourselves well beyond that 10 cents and into a big run, hopefully in November, December. The RSI, in my opinion, is a good point at this stage. Again, not financial advice, but if I was new to Solve, I think it's a good buying opportunity, and you're reducing the level of risk. Of course, if it does come down to lower levels, it's not a gigantic situation of negativity towards that area. But we're certainly in an aspect here the last few days trying to confirm that this level is our new support line, 6.5 cents. So we've got to be cautious of this area right now, certainly over the next few days, 3 or 4 days, to keep above this line and try to get this new line of 7.5 as a next level. We tried to do it on the 23rd and 24th. There was a bit of success on the 23rd and then a rejection on the 24th. I think people were just nervous because of the way the candle was moving on that day. And if you go on the 4-hourly, you will see that there was obviously, it just turned into a bear move. But what is encouraging, as I said, these sell-offs tailed off and we started seeing a green today. So it's not the end of the day, of course, this can still turn to red, but what's more important is that we close above this 6.5, get that stability confirmed, and we can start testing that 7.5. I think that's what we tried to do today, because we have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-ish days of confirmation above the 6.5 level. So it was very well overdue that we would try and do that, but I think it went too far and now it's pushed back. So it's getting in the right direction. I think, like I said, we're in a week or two's time, we'll start pushing above that 10 cent mark permanently. Let's keep an eye on it. Guys, I think that wraps up most of it. Let us know in the comments below if you're holding Solve. We're 5% down on the week. Understandably, we did have, to be fair, some interactions with Bitcoin in that week period, as well as the month as well. So it's kind of anticipated. We're still up on the on the 3 months on 21%. 6 months is not looking great, but that does entail some timing of the reduction or correction we had beyond that sort of March, April time into here. But I do anticipate that to start really reducing now as we enter towards the Q4 period of this year. And I do anticipate the year to date being a bit more positive as well towards the end of this year as well. As I said, this for me is a long-term one. I will be looking to try and take advantage of some gains in this bull run coming up. But for me, like I said, the way the world is going, the way it's digitally transforming and going into a tokenomics economy, or tokenomy, maybe that's a word, I'm not sure. I do really think this is one of the key leaders, especially for the healthcare sector. And I'm sure more partnerships are coming, as well as, of course, more integration with their worldwide dominance that they're trying to adhere to with distribution mechanisms for this project. So looking forward to seeing how they develop. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We will see you in the next video. Take care and bye-bye.